Hey everybody, Matt here with an update on the tropics for you for Tuesday evening. It's September 5th. We got one system to track, and it is newly formed Tropical Storm Lee with 45-mile-an-hour winds in the middle of the Atlantic. You can see the forecast track of Lee here over the next couple of days. Should take it to the north of the Caribbean islands, like we've been saying for the last day or so. We'll keep an eye on this just to make sure it doesn't get too close. You can see the cone there kind of just grazes the northern part of the island. So there's still a little bit of uncertainty, but I think for the most part, modeling is in pretty good agreement. This should stay to the north. And given how fast it's going to intensify, that should also help to kind of keep it to the north of the island. So Lee is a very healthy tropical storm. It is going to intensify very quickly. In fact, this is one of the most, what I would call explosive intensification forecasts that I've ever seen from the National Hurricane Center. They have this thing going up to 145-mile-an-hour winds by the time we get to the end of the weekend, making it a Category 4 storm. And there's some chance it could even be stronger than that. Models have been in very good agreement on that for the last several days. But here's the track over the next week or so, taking it off to the northwest and into the Atlantic north of Puerto Rico. And from there, we have some questions. If we take a look at this map from Tomerberg, a University of Oklahoma graduate student who's put some pretty awesome maps together on his website, this is what we call basically a density plot, a track density map of four different major ensembles, from the European model, the UK Met model run by the United Kingdom, GFS model run here in the US, and the Canadian model. And basically all these models are run multiple times each day, and they are tweaked a little bit every time. And you get basically hundreds of these outcomes that are possible. So what you can see here on this density plot, let's pull my finger back, everything's in pretty good agreement to about here. And then we start to see a little divergence. There's some that go a little bit closer to the islands. In that case, if it goes a little farther to the south, we could get some fringe impacts in places like Puerto Rico or the Dominican Republic. Wouldn't be very serious impacts, I don't think, but still you could get some rain, some wind, some rough surf for sure. Something we'll be watching. But more importantly and more interesting, I think, is that as this turns to the north, which we'll talk about in a second, the spread really opens up. There's a lot of uncertainty here on the track. That has implications for Bermuda. That also has implications potentially for the east coast of the United States, though I don't think that that is the primary concern point right now. I would be more worried about Bermuda at this point than I would be the Carolinas north on the east coast, but still something we need to watch. So how is this going to unfold? Let's take a look at a 500 millibar map. This is looking 20,000 feet up in the atmosphere, and basically we want to see what's happening. Where are the ridges? Where are the troughs? Where are the things that are going to steer Tropical Storm, then probably Major Hurricane Lee? If you look here, you can see this is out only about 4.5 days from now, but I think it's kind of instructive to kind of give you a view as to what we're going to be looking at. Here's Lee, the little blue spot right here. This indicates lower heights, lower pressure in the atmosphere. This right here is an area of high pressure. Winds flow clockwise around high pressure. So Lee is going to be steered off to the west here on the base of the high, and then curve around to the north on the western flank of it. So as Lee comes to the north, what matters? Well, for one, where is Lee at that point when it makes that turn? Secondly, how strong is this high pressure and how far west does it come? That will determine if Lee can get closer to the U.S. coast, or if it opens up a little bit more to the east, how close it can get to Bermuda, which is just a little black dot right there. So we're going to be watching this very closely over the next few days. How strong does that high get? Where does it place itself? And where is Lee at that point in time? And that'll help determine for us where exactly Lee goes as we go into next week. For now, I don't think anybody really needs to worry about it. But again, if you live in Bermuda in particular, good to watch it. East Coast, pay attention. But at this point in time, the most likely track is probably going to take it close to the coast, but offshore, and then hopefully out to sea south of the Canadian Maritimes. We'll see about that. We got some time to watch. Either way, you can expect some rough surf again on the East Coast. We've had a little bit of that this summer, particularly from Hurricane Franklin and then Idalia. Now you're going to get Lee. So rough surf, beach erosion, riptides, all the things that are going to make swimming a little bit hazardous on the eastern seaboard as we go into next week. So keep that in mind. We'll keep you posted and have more for you tomorrow. Take care.